A very good morning, students. So today we are here to start our next chapter, and the name of the chapter is the globe, latitudes and longitude. So we are going to understand in detail about the globe and the lines, that are imaginary lines that are considering the longitudes and latitude that is represented on the globe. Okay, so what are the main learning outcomes here? Shape and size of the earth, the globe, latitude and longitude, and along with that we came to know about international date line. Okay, so starting up with the size and shape of earth. How the earth look like? Most of the people from you thought that earth is an orange type shape and it's a complete round circle, but no, definitely no. And some of you thought that it is spherical in shape, because some way we came to know that the shape is kind of spherical, the earth shape is kind of a spherical one, but that is also not a true perspective one. Okay, so how the shape of earth looks like, the exact terms used for the shape of earth is geode. Okay, it means what is the meaning of geode? Geode means the shape of the earth. So if someone asks you what is actually the shape of earth, because it is a little bit slightly flattened down at the pole and bulging down from the center part, that is the reason it is considered as a geode. And the circumferences that is measured at the equator is about 24,902 miles, and means of the radius of the earth is 3,959 miles. Okay, so further we came to know about globe. What is globe? We all are completely aware that we are living on the earth, and from we can able to understand earth with the help of globe. So globe is a kind of miniature replica of the planet earth. It is just a model of earth. From where we came to know about the system or the locations of the different things. When you study a globe carefully, you may find out the vertical lines and horizontal lines around it, and that horizontal lines and vertical lines that are there in the globe is known as a grid system. Okay, so here is one extract. As you all are completely aware how we can able to actually get this extract, firstly you have to read the extract carefully, and after that discuss the question that are given below. So here I am discussing down the direct questions with you. Extract you have to revise it by yourself or read it by yourself. Okay, what was the early belief about the position of the earth? So here is the answer that is given down. It was assumed that the earth was a spherical, stationary and at the center of the universe. So this is considered to be an early belief. Okay, so the another one is who was Hipparchus? What did he devise? Okay, so here is the answer. The great astronomer Hipparchus, he also devised the method of fixing the location of place on the earth by observing the celestial bodies, that is the sun is here, the moon and the stars. Okay, the third question is here. What were some of other things that he studied? So what are the main other thing that is being studied down by him? He tried to determine the size of earth and the moon and their distance from the earth, and he also studied their orbits and eclipse as well. Okay, so this is all about the answers of the extract question. Further, the components of grid system is given. So we all are completely aware what is grid system. The horizontal and the vertical lines that is forming down any of the pattern on the globe, that is representing the grid system. So what are the main components of the grid systems are there? That is mainly four. The first one is considering down the axis, the second one is equator, third one is latitude, and fourth one is considering down the longitude. So what is included down in the axis of the earth is considering down an imaginary line. Okay, so imaginary line, it is not like that when you look at the earth you start finding an axis drawn on the earth. So no, definitely not. It is kind of imaginary line which is helpful for finding out the geographical center of the earth. It is assumed that this line is passing passing through the geographical center of the earth, and it is tilt at the angle of, now what is the meaning of tilt? Okay, so the tiltness is being representing the line like this, so it means this line is representing the tiltness there. Okay, so slightly tilt it is around 23.5 degree tilt and the axis of the earth, and the axis is also marked at its two ends, that is north pole and the south pole as well. Okay, so further, what is equator? Equator is a center line, okay, which divides the earth into two equal parts. The upper part is considering down the northern part, and the lower part is considering down the southern part. Okay, the point that touched by the axis and equator gives us the four cardinal directions. What are those cardinal directions? We all are aware with the direction. The first one is north, south, east and west. Further, we came to know about the latitudes and longitudes. So these are also considering down the imaginary lines. So we are going to understand how the latitude and the longitude lines are looking down in the further content. Okay, so the latitudes are imaginary horizontal line which run parallel to each other. Okay, equator is also considering down the latitude. On the contrary, what is longitudes? The line which runs from north pole to south pole. That is, here you may check out, this is considering down the north pole, and at below there is a south pole. It runs down from north pole to south pole. Okay, so definitely we will discuss down about latitudes and longitudes in detail in the further parts. So further, now we are going to understand about what are latitudes or parallels of latitudes. Okay, so when you look at the globe, you may find out some of the lines that are being drawn down there. So those lines are considering down the latitudes and the longitudes. So here is we are going to understand what is the difference between the longitudes and the latitudes. So these latitude lines, here you can able to see these latitude lines are there drawn on the globe. So when you look at the map or globe, you find definitely an imaginary line that run horizontally across it. Okay, so the angular distance of that from north or south of the equator measured in the degrees, minutes and second from the center of earth. Okay, here you may check out the 40 degree north, 40 degree n here is representing the northern part. Okay, so n is representing north and s is representing down the south. So north and south, these are representing down here 40 degree north and 40 degree south, or 20 degree north or 20 degree south. So above the equator, the whole part is comprising down the north, and below the equator, the whole part is comprising down of the southern hemisphere. Okay, so the angular distance of all the places, that is like I'm just giving you an example. So latitudes join all such places situated at an angular distance of 40 degree n of the equator. Okay, 40 degree n north and latitudes is the one who is joining the angular distance, that is 40 degree n of the equator. So further, the lines of the latitude or the parallels of latitude, before that here is one search and suffer given. Which famous scientist first suggested that the earth was not a true sphere? That is Isaac Newton. So we all know a famous personality, Newton. So he was the first who suggested that the earth was not a true sphere. Okay, further, the lines of the latitude or the parallels of the latitudes. So latitudes lines are also called as a parallel because these parallels and equidistance from each other. Each degree of the latitude is about 69 miles to 111 kilometers apart. Okay, so further, here are some important parallels of the latitudes. What are the main parallels of latitude? The Great Circle is there, Tropic of Cancer is there, Tropic of Capricorn is there, Arctic Circle is there, Antarctic Circle is there. So we will understand all such kind of a things from here. Okay, so how we can able to understand that? Here is in the center, if you check out, there is equator. Above the equator there is a Tropic of Cancer, and at 23.5 degree north. Okay, so further if we go little bit above here, we can able to see Arctic Circle, and it is around 66.5 degree north, and here is the northern pole. Okay, so when we came downward further, we came to know that there is a Tropic of Capricorn at the distance of 23.5 degrees south. Why it is 23.5 degrees south? Because it lies down in the southern part. Here is Antarctic Circle, and this lies in the 66.5 degree south, and below there is a South Pole. Okay, so this is all about the some important parallel lines that are there of the latitude, and together they are making down the great circles. Okay, so they are making the great circle. Great circle is actually the longest circle that is known as equator as well, which divided the earth into two equal halves. Okay, so the above part is representing the northern pole, and below part is representing the southern pole. And above the equator from the north side, you may check out, here is Tropic of Cancer. Above the Tropic of Cancer there is a Arctic Circle, and above this Arctic Circle there is a North Pole. And when we come downward from the equator, there is a Tropic of Capricorn, and below the Tropic of Capricorn there is Antarctic Circle, and below the Antarctic Circle there is a South Pole. So degree is already mentioned down here. Tropic of Cancer is at 23.5 degree north, Arctic Circle is at 66.5 degree north, Tropic of Capricorn is at 23.5 degree south, and Antarctic Circle is at 66.5 degree south. Okay, so here is one extract also given that you have to answer orally. It is just a true and false. So firstly check out that what is included in that. The first one is axis is an imaginary line which divides earth into two equal halves. So definitely no axis, we came to know that we can able to find the geographical center from there. So it is not dividing the earth into two equal parts. So definitely this one is considering the false one. The equator divides the earth into eastern and western hemisphere. Definitely no, we came to know that the equator is the one which is dividing the earth into two equal parts, that is the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So that second statement is also considering down the false. Further, now we are going to understand about the heat zone of the word. The heat zone of the word, Rajay, it is not the same in all the places. It varies down from place to place. It is different from place to place. Why it is different from place to place? Here, when you look at this diagram, you can able to understand this is sun. So the rays of the sun is not going equally to all the horizons. So it is separated down. So the heat zones are comprises down because the earth is considering down the tilt. So the heat zone that are comprising down here are the torrid, temperate and frigid. So we divided the earth into three types. Here you may check out that the torrid zone is being represented down with the green color, and above side you may check out the yellow color is there, that is representing the temperate zone, and above that there is the Arctic Circle that is representing the frigid zone. Okay, so the torrid zone is the one which is receiving down the direct rays from the sun, because equator is receiving down the direct rays of the sun, and a torrid zone is quite near to the sun, and that is why it is receiving down a direct rays from the sun. And this region is considering down a very hot and humid climate, or a very hot and humid region as well, and this climate remains throughout the year. ये पूरा साल climate रहता है. So because it is receiving the direct rays, and that is the reason it is considered as an hottest one. Okay, so when we go upward or when we came downward, that is representing the temperate zone. So what is included down in the temperate zone here, if you check out, the rays of sun at quietly tilt one. So the direct rays are not going on the temperate zone. The rays are quite tilt. The distance from the rays to the temperate zone is quite more, and that is the reason this region is considering neither too hot or neither too cold. Okay, so the 4 annual seasons are there, that is spring is there, summer is there, autumn is there, winter is there, that is occur down here. So Europe, North America, at the higher reaches of the Asia are also the places which falls in the north temperate zone, and the south temperate zone comprises down the southern Australia and some part of South America and some part of South Africa as well. So when we are talking about the frigid zone, so the name is quite clear. The frigid is representing an area that is very much cold, where most of the time you can able to see the snow there. So the cold and frigid area is considered down the frigid zone. Okay, so the frigid zone, definitely here you may check out with the blue color. So what is comprises down here, it is comprises down between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole in the northern hemisphere, and if I talk about the southern hemisphere, it is between the Antarctic Circle and South Pole in the southern hemisphere. Okay, so this region is considered as a very cold region because there is an absence of sunlight. The ice and snowfall mainly cover down the area throughout the years. Okay, so this is all about the latitude. Hope you are clear with the latitude, what is included down in the latitude. But one thing that is very much important in latitude, so why this latitude is considering down that much important? So we discussed down about latitude, we came to know about lot many things, but why these things are considering down are very important things. Okay, so the various places we can able to check out with the help of these latitude, we can able to check out, we can able to understand the difference in the weather and climate of the different places by checking out the sun angles as well with the help of latitude. The temperature also divided down by these latitudes, and even the flora and fauna are also being affected down by these latitude. Hope you all are clear with the latitude, what is included down here. So in the next video we will definitely do the next part that is related with the longitude. Okay.